September 4th, and welcome to Bible on the Beach, coined by our beautiful sister Haley Arsenault. That's our baby sister Brady Murphy. And I'm Scarlett Savage. And we are at the Sisters Ridgway, starting our Bible study on the beach right before our baby sister's birthday. Take it away, Brady.
So today we're starting Genesis 15:16 for no particular reason other than we wanted to talk about Abraham and the beginning of that lineage. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no children, but she kept an Egyptian slave named Hagar. So she said to Abram, "The Lord has kept me from having children. Go sleep with my slave. Perhaps I can build a family through her." Abram agreed to what Sarai said, and after Abram had been living in Canaan 10 years, Sarai, his wife, took her Egyptian slave Hagar and gave her to her husband.
I think it's important just to mention that it was a common practice at that time, and they were considered they were considered that father's child. The wife's child, not the slave.
So the mother could lay claim to the child that her slave...
And I read this down in our study section on our Bible with our study Bibles, and I love that. I think it helps me understand.
I know.
Well, that's what happened with Thomas Jefferson. His wife said, "Don't saddle my kids with a stepmother," so he turned to one of his slaves. She was fine with that. Because like you said, it was the normal for a long
Very
time.
normal thing back then. Yeah.
It was not an extraordinary thing that was being asked of her.
But I think it's also important to point out the fact that
She claimed the children. She claimed the children.
by giving Hagar, or Hagar, however it's pronounced, to Abram, God said, I will make your wife a mother." She was not trusting God. She's not trusting the plan, so she takes matters into her own hands. And how well does that work?
Oh, to plan directly against God, you have to be... You're off the path at that point.
You are off the path. Well, he slept with Hagar, and she conceived. When she knew she was pregnant, she began to despise her mistress. Then Sarai said to Abram, "You are responsible for the wrong I am suffering. I put my slave in your arms, and now that she knows she is pregnant, she despises me. May the Lord judge between you and me." "Your slave is in your hands," Abram said. "Do with her whatever you would like, whatever you think best." And Sarai mistreated Hagar, so Hagar fled away.
With the baby or without it?
With.
Wow.
The baby is named Ishmael.
That's right. Okay, sorry.
And Ishmael does have a lineage of his own, because it was not his fault or his mother's fault that he was conceived in the way that he was.
Right.
So he's still a child of God. I mean, we all are, but Ishmael was not punished anyway.
Well, that's good, because the decision wasn't his.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a product. All right. The angel of the Lord found Hagar near a spring in the desert. The spring is beside the road to Shur. What did I say? It was the spring that is beside the road to Shur. Okay, I did read it right. It sounded wrong first. And he said, "Hagar, slave of Sarai, where you come from and where are you going? Where have you come from and where are you going?" "I am running away from my mistress Sarai," she answered. The angel of the Lord told her, "Go back to your mistress and submit to her." The angel added, "I will increase your descendants so much they will be too numerous to count." The angel of the Lord also said to her, "You are now pregnant, and you shall give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael." So apparently I was incorrect in what I said earlier. She's still pregnant with Ishmael this first time that she runs away.
Okay, that's right. I remember
She
her...
does run away again later.
I remember her coming back, and that was kind of significant, but she didn't really quite get the reason, which she didn't quite get the humility she was supposed to learn.
Right.
You know? Okay. At least that was my takeaway. What do you think, Haley?
Well, I think we should look down in the comments and kind of...
My sister's Bibles both have these study comments, and they're really helpful.
It says, Hagar was running away from her mistress and her problem. The angel of the Lord gave her this advice: to return to the face Sarai, that caused of her problem, and to submit to her. Hagar needed to work on her attitude towards Sarai, no matter how justified it may have been. Running away from problems really solved them. It is wise to return to our problems, face them squarely, accept God's promise, and collect our attributes and act as we should.
See, I feel like that's really this in a nutshell. It's just a lot of the things, well, let's face it, most of the things God wants of us are not easy to do. But for me, it goes back to the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not cover thy neighbor's wife. Thou shalt not kill. But then he has to watch his own son, his one begotten son, being tortured in ways that man was never meant to endure. And I feel like that was his way of saying, what I ask of myself is so much more than I ever ask of you.
Can't imagine it being any worse.
Exactly. I feel like that's the whole message of the 10 Commandments.
So he says to her, we're back to Hagar's prayer with the angel of the Lord. Keep in mind, he went to her. She didn't go to him in prayer. He went to her.
Now, I know Mary laughed with joy. Sarai was more cynical about it.
She was, but I think you're thinking of Elizabeth.
You're right, yes.
Okay, so this is what
So few women in the Bible, and I still get them confused.
I know, right? So this is what we're gonna. So true, right? I know, and they don't have names.
There's like 4 of them.
Noah's wife, Moses' wife. If you are named in the Bible as a woman, that was considered huge.
You were
honor.
practically a saint.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, here we go. You are now pregnant, and you will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard of your misery. He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him. He will live in hostility towards all of his brothers. So even though Ishmael did not sin, he's going to bear some of the burden. God is predetermined that he's going to be kind of an aggressive jerk.
Yeah, it's kind of like when he committed her sin, and like every 7
Kickstarted the whole thing,
people are
yeah.
going to, have issues in their family or whatever. It's kind of the same kind of thing.
It's
If
not
do
just
wrong,
you.
We learned that.
you're going to make up for it later down the road.
We learned that in sociology. If you have 7 people left in the world, they'll make one an outcast. They will kick one around. 6 people, they can function. But if there's 7 people, at that point, somebody's going to have an opinion somebody else doesn't like, and they are just cast out. So I think that's a significant number. What Haley was just saying knits right into that.
Well, it caused me to think of what we were talking about this morning, where Riley had gone to junior church last week, her granddaughter. My grandson came to junior church this week. They both had an awesome experience and want to come back. And we just were talking about when you drop that rock in the water, you don't know where all the ripples go.
Like that song I played for you, the fight song. There's a big thing about that. It's like a tiny pebble goes all the way across the ocean, and you just don't even know it.
Absolutely.
Because we as humans tend to think once it's out of our sight, it just doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, or at least it's on pause somewhere. Or at least I do. And that's a very selfish way to be. I'd like to try to work on that. That's going to be my biblical lesson this week. Something. Yeah, try to work on that. To realizing that just because I can't see the positive effects of something I'm doing doesn't mean they don't exist.
Well, I think what we need to do in those times is pray for God to lead us in the right path. Like we have to say, everything is falling down around us. Please give me a sign.
What I'm
of
supposed
the
to
way
do.
I need to go.
Guidance.
Instead of like having secondary emotions and like creating all this drama and crap, and you're, just
Making it
really pray to God. Hey, help, life, lead me. And it might not be tomorrow that you get your answer, like you were teaching. It might be years down the road, but you pray until something happens.
That's been a big thing in my life. Is I always go with the secondary emotion first.
Me too. And I'm learning about my secondary emotions lately, and I'm trying to not let them
Guide you.
Because you're really just diving into the word, which is
My entire life can be summed up with 3 words.
These Bibles, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
So my entire life can be summed up with 3 words: knee-jerk reaction, and that's a bad way to be, because you haven't thought about it. If it's a knee-jerk reaction,
I think that's how we were brought up. That's how we were raised. That doesn't make us wrong, and we're trying to learn
to be,
to
we're
do different going forward.
we are all in our 50s. That's our baby sister who's sitting the big 5'1" this week. I'm the oldest. No, she looks younger than me, but she's in fact a little tiny bit older than me. But I am myself, and my sisters are as well. We're having a real awakening. I know, it's probably going on your knee or something, but that's going to be the charm of that. Actually, someone can hold it for a while. There we go.
No, that's the one.
Am I doing good?
No, you're I can hold it. You can read if you'd like.
I want Haley to read because she has that clear, concise voice.
Okay.
But I wanted to finish my thought is that if you do a knee-jerk reaction, if you're always locked and loaded, then you're learning nothing because you're not even listening to the person. You're just reacting, and that's been a big problem. So next week when we do Bible on the Beach, that's going to be what I'm going to work on this week, and I'll report back to my sisters, and we'll see how it goes because they've known me my whole life, and they know how well I can do or not do
And maybe by the end of this, we'll have a goal for the week. But I'm going to stand up and video these ladies.